Everyone. Welcome to OrTalk live podcast series with our first beautiful guest, Jordana Baruchov Greenfield. And I'm very excited. We spoke about this. You're the first guest in this great series.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
welcome.
Well, thank you. Thank you. And kol hakavod to you. Congratulations for starting something. It's always unbelievable. People have plans and ideas and they don't necessarily start it. You're a starter, you're a doer, and I'm excited to be on the journey with you. So this is
Thank you,
great.
Hashem. Thank you, Hashem. Well, this is a really exciting time for Or Emuna in general. There's a lot of expansion going on, and one of the core focuses that I would like to, as the director of Or Emuna, is to bring in as many voices as possible, and that means also outside and inside, from within the student body, from outside of the student body, to bring as many voices inside, because I believe that everybody has something unique to contribute to the world. And so many of us are also talking the same language. Okay, we might be quoting other Rebbeim or sources, but really at the end of the day, we're all speaking so much of the same thing, the Muna part, the healing, and we all have something like a different channel, a different way of exploring, how to get there. And here in our podcast today, which is so beautifully named, How Brokenness and Joy Live Side by Side, it's really very dear for me because, especially during the 3 weeks, although this podcast could really be heard all throughout the year, the idea of experiencing the healing, the redemption, the joy, the pain, the inner truth, the calling out, all through our Hasidic masters. I mean, that's basically what Or Emuna stands for. So, you seem to, from what I am journeying alongside you and viewing you, and drink it in, like really drink it in. You seem to have really mastered a formula to be able to dance between this brokenness and the joy. You seem to have been able to walk through real pain in your life and radiate this joyful, Emuna filled, auric field energy that inspires thousands of people. Women have come to me and said, "Have you heard Jordana? There's an influence, there's an impact, and I know that you're a teacher, so you teach this to so many, that just because you're broken, it doesn't have to cancel out the joy. You can hold both, and that's actually the paradox of life, and that is the Torah of the Holy Baal Shem Tov, being able to hold the paradox of feeling the pain but finding Hashem in it. So I want to, I'm honored. First of all, thank you so much for being here. I really, I want you to introduce yourself. I want everybody to know who stands before us here. Like, talk to us a little bit about, what your journey, what has led you up until here.
There are many different pieces, and when I'm on different podcasts and different platforms, so I share different pieces of it. You touched on the idea of dancing. I love that, dancing between different struggles and rising back up. That's such an apropos description of myself, especially because I love to dance, and that's probably what I did before I actually walked. But I get that question a lot, like, what's the formula? How do I have this positive demeanor, this energy, this vibe? I know I have it, and I wish I knew of a formula of some sort of methodology or something that I could give over to people, but there isn't anything. This is how HaKadosh Baruch Hu, this is how God created me. I'm very fortunate. I'm very lucky. He created me with this disposition, this positive, happy, energetic personality, smiling. Even I remember when I left eighth grade, when I was graduating eighth grade, the principal at the time, Rabbi Wagler, he turned to me and he said, Jordana, I hope you come back every week to visit me just so I could see your smile. So this is
Yes.
something already from such a young age that I've been doing, and I get it, and I understand what people are saying, because some of my children definitely have that quality where that's the first reaction people get. Oh, I love his smile. Oh, I love when she smiles. There's something about it. There's something special about a smile, and I do it naturally. Oh, this is also very funny. I remember when my older sister, was getting married, and we were doing pictures. I was 14 at the time, and we were doing pictures, and you have to smile a lot. and we're both back to back, because we're the sisters. And she says to me, "Oh my gosh, how do you do this all day long? This is so tiring, smiling. Oh my gosh."
Not if it comes
So,
naturally, like it
so this
comes
is,
for you.
but yeah, it's just that's who I am naturally. Doesn't mean I don't have sad moments. Doesn't mean I don't have struggles. Doesn't mean I don't feel pain. I do. I have all those things. And I don't think it's fair for me to say maybe I had more of my share than others, because I don't know everybody's struggles, but I have had plenty. Somebody who's been through 2 divorces, um, who's thank God, I'm doing great. Um, Really healing, really focused on the
It does.
future.
That really does bring me to
Yeah.
the question. So what does Amuna look like for you? What does this Kesher and this connection, this bond to God look like to you during those hard moments? Like, take me through it. Like where are those times where it, like, your Amuna wavered a little bit or changed form or adapted to, like, having to cope with the pain, like, right?
Cope with the pain. Uh, I would say that those moments in time of feeling alone, and I'm sure I probably wasn't alone, in the sense I have a great support system, I have great parents, I have great siblings, but there's a sense of loneliness when you're going through something, because whether it's the shame you don't want to share with others, that you're embarrassed that this is happening to you, because you go through why me syndrome. Why is this happening to me? Why did this have to happen? Why is it happening? Do I deserve this? Do I not deserve this? Does anyone deserve anything like this? All these questions. I remember there were different moments. I remember after my first divorce, day in and day out, I would cry in my room. Why me? Why is this happening to me? I can't. And every little thing that would happen would then escalate. So, like, if you stub
You
your
start off
toe,
with
it goes
right. You start off with a little grain of sand, and before you turn around, you have a pile of sand.
right. It's like you stub your toe, and then okay, your toe hurts, and then in your brain, your thoughts start going, oh, and this is wrong, and that's wrong. Da, da, da. And so for me, the healing process looks like, at that point, in that stage of my life, I remember it very distinctly. I was getting off of the Triborough Bridge. I remember, in my car. So you have to understand, this is dating, like, I mean, we had cell phones, but not like cell phones back then, my daughter. So I'm getting off the Triborough Bridge, and there I am, away from the toll booth already, and my car stalls. Just me and my daughter in the car. My car, or was it my daughter in the car? Maybe she wasn't in the car. Maybe that's what I was grateful for, that she was in the car. I don't recall that aspect. What I do recall is that I picked up my phone to try to call, and within 6 seconds, the phone died. I was able to get one call, and then the phone died. And then at that moment, my typical self from before the healing process would have gone into a tirade. Oh my gosh, why me? Why this? Why blah 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 blah. And then I just was able to focus on that moment that my car stalled, and I need to figure out how to get towed, how to get to my destination. And I didn't go into a whole history of all the bad things that I felt had occurred to me. So I knew that was an aha moment. When I could breathe, and I'm not bringing in all my past instances into the present, and I could just focus on the present, that's healing. So that was like one major aha.
What?
Another time for me, believe it or not, was when one of my children didn't get into high school. It was devastating for me. Baruch Hashem, married, in children. She's a mom
Years
herself.
later,
But at that point in time, it was devastating to me. What? What'd you
years
say?
later, I think we have a delay. I think we have a delay in the internet.
Yes, yes, unfortunately, I'm so sorry. So
Yeah.
anyway, yes. But we're gonna keep on going. We keep on going.
Yes,
That's
we
we
are.
persevere. So I
Totally.
remember she didn't get into high school. I mean, she eventually got in, but at the time when she didn't get in, I tried everything. I tried to contact all these different people. Help me, help me, help me, help me, help me, help me. and nobody was helping me. It was, again, that sense of feeling alone. And I remember I just turned to HaKadosh Baruch Hu and I said, okay, I'm just going to daven. And you would think like, here I am, grew up from davening, but I think that's when I had this moment of prayer. It really hit me very strongly. And I started getting into Tehillim more. And I really started davening and taking my tefillos very seriously.
So you basically, in Or Emuna, we say that your breakdown is not separate from your breakthrough. So you can have a breakthrough even when you break down. And it sounds to me like that's really what you're describing.
Well, I think through the breakdown, you have a breakthrough.
Right.
Meaning that's the purpose
They're one and the
sometimes
same.
of the breakdown.
Right. They're one and
They're
the
one
same.
and the same.
Yeah. And it's like a like corridor.
Obstacles are not obstacles, they're opportunities. So it's a mind tweak. And I think all of these catchphrases are great and they're helpful, like embrace your space or any of of all these cute ideas. These are great things to recall and go back on, but it really takes the work.
Right.
It takes hard work to actually do the talking that you're doing. Like I was once in a session with a therapist with a family member, and they said, so what does that make you feel? Yeah. And I'm like, okay, I know. I know what to talk myself into, I know I should be saying this and this and this to my brain, but that's not what I'm feeling right now. I'm feeling X, Y, and Z. I know I'm supposed to say A, B, and C. So I think the question you had asked me previously was about connecting to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, my relationship with him. And that's key. The connection is based on my relationship with him. I tell this very, very famous story from me. If people go to my classes, I tell this story, and I think it really explains it all in this story, because people always tell me they love this story. So this is the story. I'm the youngest of four. I have an older sister and two older brothers. My two older brothers, I do call one older and one younger, just to differentiate between the two. Okay, but technically they're both older. So I had an amazing relationship with my older brother. To me, my older brother was like the hero. He was like God. He was like, can do no wrong to this day. My younger brother, again, who's old? My younger brother, unfortunately, I never got along with him when I was younger. Today we do. We're very close. But when I was younger, we always, he would tease me and bother me. And Chachi was the middle child. And it was difficult for me. I remember standing in the kitchen, in my parents' kitchen, I remember clearly by the kitchen table, and I had a set of hands on my shoulders. I could have sworn it was my younger brother's hands on my shoulders. And I'm boiling inside, and I'm getting agitated, and I'm fuming. Why does he have his hands on my shoulders? And I turn around ever so slightly, and I look up and I see it's not my younger brother, but rather it's my older brother. And at that very moment, my whole body just softened. And I was like, it's not my younger brother, it's my older brother. It's my hero touching my shoulders. And that was an aha moment.
Reframing.
Yes, it's an aha moment. It's about, like, if something happens to me, if I have a special relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that if something happens to me, I'm receiving it differently. And that's the beauty of the month of Av. You start off with the 3 weeks. Av is talking about a relationship as a father. If I'm relating to HaKadosh Baruch Hu as a father, and I know a father, again, unfortunately, I have an amazing father who loves me. Some people have a negative relationship with their parents. I feel bad. I'm sorry. But I am pulling on that positive relationship that I have. So from that, I know what an ideal father is supposed to be. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu is a million times better than that. So, and Av, the month of tragedy, right? It's not happenstance, it's not coincidence that is the month that is known as the Father Month. That is the month where the relationship is there. When a parent punishes or gives a consequence to a child, they're doing it because they love them. That's the loving part. I guess how they do it, per se, might be the melech, the kingly part. But that's the relationship we have with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Avinu Malkeinu, my father, my king. Right. And it's when in those breakdowns is the of.
Right.
The breakdown are the of. And if you could see that and feel that, that gets you through to the breakthrough.
So that's
That's how
exactly
I
why
feel.
I cherish the Torah of the Holy Baal Shem Tov, because that's what he teaches us, that that descent is for the sake of the ascent. If you can break through the klipa, which is your immediate triggered response to the negative circumstances in life, the first response we have to anything that doesn't go our way, or anything negative, whatever it is get me out of here. You push it away. You don't want to engage in it. You just want it to pass. You want to duck. You want to pull up your shield. You want to pull out your sword. You want to fight with it. But if you understand that if you can ride with that wave, it can actually take you to somewhere that's absolutely beautiful. So don't stop at the pain. That's at Or Emuna, all of our programs are based on that. Don't stop at the pain. The pain is like one of the ingredients in a recipe. Like you wouldn't just take salt and just eat it like that, right? Okay, sugar you could, but you know what I mean. Or flour. You're not going to just take flour and shove it down your throat, right? But if you understand that it's an ingredient, that pain is an ingredient in making you the better you, the ever changing you, the evolutionized and revolutionized you, then you understand that it's part and parcel of this growing process. So I want to ask you, where have you very specifically, do you remember a time in your life where you very specifically realized that something that you thought was looked to be like the worst thing that could possibly, like you was talking about, your what happened to you with the bridge and your kid, your child not being accepted to school. Can you give me an example like where you thought like this is it? This is like horrid, and you've seen it play out differently in your life, and as they say, hindsight is an exact science, where you were able to then look back and say, you know what? This is, I have a laughing joke, a running joke in Or Emuna. As a teacher, I'll say, I didn't order this on the menu, Hashem. I ordered, chocolate souffle with vanilla ice cream. Why'd you give me, I don't know, whatever, But once you get it, you can interact with it. Where have you seen that in your life where you wouldn't have ordered it on the menu, but now that you had it, you were able to see the beauty of it?
Yeah, believe it or not.
Wow.
I don't know if I'm there yet. I think I feel like I'm at the cusp of that right now. I'm at a stage, coming here to Israel, and I use the terminology, I'm not shoning it. I'm just jumping in. It's really, really out of my comfort zone. I'm a very regiment scheduled, organized person, and I like everything, in a row, laid out. And I don't have that now. And so I think perhaps this is HaKadosh Baruch Hu's way of telling me that this is what you need to work on, and bigger and better things are waiting for you. The only thing when you present that question to me is a standard response of my children. Going through two divorces, a person could kick themselves like, okay, why me? Why did I have to go through that? And then I always look at my children, and they're such beautiful children. I'm very fortunate to have such amazing, they're my inspiration all times. They're my soul correctors. They're the ones that push me to be a better version of myself on a daily basis. So if I had to go through those, to me, it was like pregnancy, birth pangs. I had to go through that, through those marriages to receive these gifts of these six amazing children. Then that's for now. That's the only thing I could think of.
Wow.
My
That's
children.
beautiful. No, that's absolutely
But otherwise, yeah. But otherwise,
beautiful.
is I don't see anything. Perhaps in a year from now, I will present differently, but I am still in the throes
Right.
of my
Right.
life.
Like people, women will reach out to me like, well, I'm talking to you about my brokenness and Emuna, but you're not there. Like, can you even understand? I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? I'm always in Emuna crisis. I am constantly calling the Emuna Hatzalah, to save me. And I'm constantly calling my Rav, or my Rebbeim. And I have this idea that sometimes somebody takes my Emuna plug and pulls it out of the socket, and I speak to my Rav, and I become yo small again. Not that I'm big, but really like downsize. And he takes my Emuna out, a wire, and he puts it back into the outlet, and my electricity is running a little bit more again, because we all have these waves and nobody's ever there. You don't graduate from Emuna school.
And if I might interject for a second, and I don't want to give someone, I mean, it's nice to have hope, but it's not, I don't want to give false hope. But this imagery that I have of the sneh, the burning bush, it burns and it does not get consumed. Now, a lot of Mefarshim commentators ask, why was it a small bush? So Rashi explains, so that Hashem says, I'm lowering myself and I'm here with you in the fire, in the burning. But he doesn't take out the fire. HaKadosh Baruch Hu could have just put out the bush. He's not putting out the bush. He's not putting out our pain. What Hashem is saying is, I'm going to be there with you. I'm sitting there with you in the fire, and that you're not alone. Rav Shimshon Pikus used to always say, he had this beautiful terminology of a little boy that's crossing the street. And an adult says to the boy, he does it in Yiddish, I don't know Yiddish, he says, do you want me to hold your hand and help you cross the street? And the boy says, yes. That little boy is us. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, I'll help you cross the street. I'm not making the car stop. I'm not changing the light, but I'll hold your hand while you cross the street. And that's the beauty. And that's the beauty of understanding HaKadosh Baruch Hu is not getting rid of it. I'm here with you. And that in turn is our job as parents. Our job as parents is to be godlike in that moment. We can't get rid of our children's problems. We're meant to sit with them in it and help them walk through it as best as we can. And that's life.
Wow.
That's life.
Wow. I have to tell you, first of all, hearing what you're saying is incredible, but it really falls into what we're witnessing here in so many walks of life. It's incredible to see how women are moving from pain to leadership, from being able to heal, take their healing light and be mashpia to others. We have a program called Rise and Shine. So in the second year track, that's what we do. We teach women how to take their pain. The first year, it's about coping with your pain. And the second year, where we teach Jewish coaching through the Emuna way. And just like you've done, to take that pain and to be able to help women feel like they're empowered by it and not debilitated, not victimized. Like, we really do go straight to the why me. We keep going back to the Gan Eden of the blame game. But I'm seeing and I'm noticing with you through your small, but they're not so small, sustainable steps that you've taken in your life. You've constantly added another step of resilience, of courage, of empowerment, of smile, another layer of simcha. And that is awesome to see. It really is.
It's interesting that you're talking about the why me. I want listeners to hear this very carefully. There is nothing wrong with asking, why me? That's the first step. Rivka Imenu asked,
right,
why me? When she was pregnant with the twins, with Esav and Yaakov, she didn't know what was going on. Her first reaction, those are the words in the verse. She says, Lama zeh? Why is this happening to me? But the difference was, she doesn't stop. She doesn't sit with the why me, why poor me, why me. It says right after that, she goes lidroshet Hashem. She goes to seek advice. She tries to find tools to help her deal with whatever pain, whatever confusion she's in. And that's important, to acknowledge what we are feeling, not to ignore it, and then to go one step further and then try to work through it, as you said.
Right. So I love that, and with that, I think we can really put like the cherry on the cake. So what you're really describing is this honest place within self, and what you're describing is this honest, truthful relationship with your imperfections. In other words, it's not about being perfect. It's not about, achieving a certain level of perfection. It's about allowing Hashem to be with us wherever we are, even in our mess, right? And really, that's the soul message. I mean, that's why I felt such a draw to bring you into this, this talk, because that's the soul message of Or Emuna. Like, that's exactly what we do is to bring Hashem into that place. And that is what helps anchor us and also elevate us both, right? At the same time. So I'm going to ask you to just one tip. Is there a special daily practice, a tefillah, music, a habit, something that you do that can help somebody right now that you feel is strong enough and thick enough, so to speak, to break through some mode of brokenness that someone's feeling right now?
I'll do my drink it in spiel that I do in the morning. We'll
Oh,
go with
love
that.
it. And I'll have my coffee while you're doing it. Go ahead.
Okay. So I usually say, hope you have the opportunity to pray for the things you do not have yet, but as if you have them, and grateful for what you do have. Get ready for those blessings. Get ready to nachshon the day. Make today a better character building day than it was yesterday. Make it a Kiddush Hashem day. And don't forget to breathe. Because when we breathe and take pause, that's when we allow Hashem into our lives.
Wow. That was like a whammy of a cherry on top of a yummy cake that we already enjoyed here. So what can I say? Thank you for all, in the name of all the listeners who are going to gain chizuk from this talk. You should continue to shine your light to all those who are in need of hearing, your story, your voice. May we all merit to be able to hold our brokenness, feel the Av in the pain, right? I always say Av is Aleph Bet. Isn't that interesting that Abba is spelled Aleph Bet? It means there's order, right? It's not Aleph, it's everything is in order. And may we all merit to be able to feel the joy of Hashem's presence in the brokenness with Emuna, with gentleness, with truth, with a smile on our face, yes, that can crack through, and you should continue to have that voice to help so many others through what we say in Hebrew, dugma ishit, a personal example of embodying Emuna in spite of the pain.
Thank you so much. Honor to be here.
Thank you so much. And to all of our listeners, I want to invite you that if this episode speaks to you, please share it, tag it, save it, and continue to stick with us because we have amazing OrTalk interviews and in line. And I'm looking forward, and continue to smile. Wow, I love to see your smile. Continue to smile, everyone. Geula is coming. Be'ezrat Hashem b'meha v'yameinu. Amen. Ken Yiratzon.